Hey, welcome to this replay of a live workshop that I did earlier called The Top 3 Mistakes That Creatives Make and How to Avoid Them. If you want to get your own copy of the free workbook that I made specifically for this workshop so you can follow along and get as much value as possible and take notes and everything, just go ahead and grab it at the link below and be sure to subscribe and get those notifications and give me a hello down below and let me know that you were here. With no further ado, I hope you enjoy this workshop that was recorded earlier and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye. And welcome to the 3 biggest mistakes that creatives make and how to avoid them. This workshop is going to last approximately an hour and there will be a guided meditation at the end. So please participate in that only if you are in a safe place, no operating machinery, no driving, and just make sure that you're not going to be disturbed during that time. You are in the right place today if you want to avoid the biggest mistakes that I've seen creatives make, creative entrepreneurs make, and the same mistakes that I've made actually that put me back years and years on really my soul purpose path. And it's okay. I learned a lot of things, but I want you to learn from my mistakes. You can you can hack them. And we're also going to go over why you want to avoid these mistakes so that you have less suffering and self-doubt while you're building a creative life and career that you really love, that really honors who you are at your core. We're also going to go over what changes you need to make to your mindset and thinking and how you think if you're going to avoid these mistakes consistently while building that creative life and career that you love. And like I mentioned, we're going to go through a guided meditation. So if you're new to my world, I think there's been a couple of new signups for this. I am Erin Vasquez. I am a master certified neurolinguistic programming coach. I'm also master certified in something called timeline therapy, which helps you heal trauma at the root so that you can disconnect all of the beliefs and thoughts that are currently holding you back and act from basically an upgraded operating system. And I'm also master certified in hypnotherapy. This is all basically a fancy way of saying I help people reprogram their subconscious mind. I focus on helping creatives and creative entrepreneurs because I believe artists are here to save the world. And I want to help you all be rich as fuck according to your definition of what that means. Okay, that is who I am and that is what I'm here to do. If for some reason if you got your workbook and you have it with you, please have that out because I want to talk about a little bit of the pre-work in that workbook. If you don't have it, just check out one of the emails that I sent you. There's a link to that workbook. You can download it later if you'd like, and go back and do this work and answer the questions. But the first thing that I really invite you to do, whether you're watching this live or you are here for the replay, is look at the pre-work and think about the intention that you want to set with your time here. The stronger your intention, the more clear you are on your intention, not just with this workshop, but with everything that you do, the more you understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you're spending your time watching a workshop when you could be doing all sorts of other things, right? What is your intention? Do you want to gain a bigger understanding? Do you want to increase your self-confidence? Is this one little step in the right direction for you? Do you want to use this as a stepping stone to finally say yes to starting the blog, to starting the photography business, all of the things? Be clear on your intention. And whether you're here live or if you are watching this replay, I would love to know what your intention is in the comments below. My intention is to free you from the 3 mistakes that I'm going to teach you about so you can feel free and confident in making the actual kinds of mistakes that will serve you on your journey. The mistakes that I'm going to talk about today are holding you back and they don't serve you because actually mistakes have value. They really, really do. But the ones I'm teaching you about today, I'm inviting you to disconnect from those. So that's my intention. And my intention folds into my mission, vision, values, my mission to make sure that I help as many artists and creative entrepreneurs become as aligned, authentic, and abundant as they like. All right. And to always hold it into that. And if you need mission, vision, values support, just let me know. And I'm going to send you a link to a workshop that I did on that. I also asked you in the pre-work if there was a time in your childhood where you were discouraged from doing something that you really wanted to do. So maybe you had a chance to journal on that. Maybe you need to go back and journal on that after this. There will be an opportunity throughout the workshop to, if you haven't thought about this yet, to let that time kind of occur to you, right? For example, especially with creatives and creative entrepreneurs, a lot of artists are discouraged from pursuing what they're drawn to. The things that I've heard are as seemingly innocent as, we want you to join the family law firm, this is what we do, we're lawyers, we're doctors, we're accountants, we do this, to why don't you do something that makes more sense and you can just keep that as your hobby, and then if it ever takes off, and we know what that, like if you put it second, then it's second and it doesn't take off. It takes energy, it takes time, it takes focus. I remember being told that artists are, it's hard to make money as an artist and that they all use substances. So I was basically told as a 6-year-old that I would be a broke heroin addict if I pursued anything in the creative spaces. Even not in childhood, I've shared this on other workshops as well. One of the most profound moments of my young adult life, when I was 24 and I was in university, there was a professor, my writing professor, and he was also my academic advisor. So he had a lot of power over me. Like I had that authority trance, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. But he told our class, one of our writing workshops, that either you can be a good, respected writer and be broke, or you can be a cheesy sellout and be rich, and there is no in between. And in my mind, that was one of the statements that made me go into corporate America in the first place, and I don't have any regrets. But that's not something people should be telling young adults. That's the most ridiculous thing ever. So if there was ever one of those moments in your life, just keep that in mind, because we're going to work on that in the meditation. Okay, without any further ado, again, all of that is in your pre-workbook. All of these workshops come with a workbook. Just be sure to download it from your confirmation email or any of the reminder emails that come up, because those are there for you. It's not there because I love creating more work for myself. They're there so you can actually gain more value and start connecting different paths in your mind when it comes to learning what it is that I intend for you guys to learn in these workshops. The 3 biggest mistakes that I see creatives make, that I've made, that creative entrepreneurs make, are waiting for someone to give you permission to do what it is that you want to do, outsourcing authority, and second guessing yourself. We're going to go deeper into each one of these and what the consequences are of each one of those mistakes, and why you should stop doing it so you can free yourself up to go make the mistakes that you're actually going to learn from and increase self-confidence and all of that good stuff. So with waiting for someone to give you permission, why are we even doing this, either consciously or unconsciously? And waiting for permission could look like someone's literally coming in and saying hey, you're a really good writer, why don't you quit your 9 to 5 and go for it? Or hey, you're a really good writer, why don't we set up a structured time for you to just blog and practice and all of that? Some outside source coming in and saying it's time for you to do this, you're really good at this, you need to do this, right? We all want that. It would make life so much easier, of course. But most of us aren't going to get that unless we're incredibly blessed. And if we have limiting beliefs and decisions, I have another workshop on that, we might not be able to hear and receive it, even if we have someone saying hey, here's your permission slip. So I want you to think back to your school days. Again, so much of this goes back to childhood. In school, as a child, you were told to sit down at a certain time. You were told that you were allowed to get up at a certain time and only with permission. You could only go to the bathroom when you were told you could. I remember asking for permission to go to the bathroom. Looking back on that now, it's wait a minute, what? You had to have permission to speak, to play, to eat, to get a drink of water. You had to have permission for all of those things. And you are conditioned from a very young age to ask for permission. And during the first 7 years of life, you're being programmed at an amazing, amazing rate. So most of our software, most of our hardwiring is there to ask for permission. And the reason it's difficult to change for a lot of people is because think about what would happen if you didn't wait for permission. Like imagine sitting in math, the teacher's talking about math, and all you want to do is be back in art class or just go out to the playground. Imagine if you had gotten up from the middle of math class and ran out to the playground and started playing. Can you imagine what that would be like? They would freak the hell out. There would be consequences. There would be a conference with your parents. You'd have to go home and deal with your parents being mad at you because your parents don't want these phone calls from the teachers. They want their kid to be getting the good marks, right? Like, understandably so. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but there were consequences to doing what you felt was right for you in the moment. You were being conditioned to ignore that, to appease the system and the structure that was around you. And don't get me wrong, systems and structures are important. We can't just have chaos everywhere. We have to have both, but at the cost of your own wellness, of what's going on for you, of what you desire for yourself, and it creeps into your adulthood. That's where it becomes a really big problem. Now, presumably, if you're listening to this or watching this, you want to live your life from a creative passion or start a business that doesn't quite make sense or no one's ever done before. You have an idea and you want to go do this, but no one's giving you permission. And it's not conforming to the system or the structures or what other normal people are doing. You might have friends who seem perfectly content to be working a normal job or just kind of going along with the flow and all of that. And you might be wondering, like, what's wrong with me, right? Because that's what that conditioning in your school days does. So it tells you there's something wrong with you if you up and go play when you feel the call to go play. There's something wrong with you if you just want to like wander into the art classroom. There's something wrong with you if you want to go write instead of go to gym. Right now, as an adult, you're not responsible for the conditioning and the program that happened to you as a young child. What you're responsible for is doing the work to change that conditioning and shift that thinking for yourself. You have to write your permission slip. You have to do it. Okay. And if you're someone who wants to make money or build a creative business or make a living off of your passion, you have to write the permission slip. You have to give yourself permission. And we know that you need to do it because the vast majority of people aren't even going to be able to relate, first of all, to the desire to do what you want to do, because not everyone is wired this way, right? And then even if they are wired this way and they aren't ready to like make that jump, they're going to be triggered. So they might try to like keep you down. They're not going to be like, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? Not because they're bad, but when we see other people breaking through their own barriers, it brings up our own shit because it's like, oh God, like now I have to look at my excuses, right? Like it sucks. So then the other people who don't even understand and can relate, they don't know how to help you. There's no straight A to Z path for creatives. You have to figure it out. You do have to go out there and make mistakes and see what works and what doesn't and learn from the mistakes and celebrate in the successes and all of that good stuff. So you have to write your permission slip. So what I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write this down. I, and then write your name, give myself permission to live my life in a way that honors my soul and my time on this planet by, and then insert that thing that you want. Being a successful writer, being a successful photographer, being a successful entrepreneur. Sign it and then put it up on your bathroom mirror where you can see it every morning and every night when you're brushing your teeth. Seriously, read it out loud. Give yourself permission. Give yourself the thing that no one else is going to give you. Okay. So there is the first thing. The second mistake that creatives make that you should stop making right now is outsourcing authority, okay? And you'll see that these three mistakes are pretty well related, but they're a little bit different and they all warrant their own kind of like in-depth understanding. So the second one is outsourcing authority, and this is related to waiting for permission, but it's different. And I'll give you a specific example. In 2017, I finally gave myself permission to go do the thing that I wanted to do, which was start a life coaching business. I saw it incorporating creativity, connection, writing, marketing, all of these great things that really light me up at my core. And I really enjoyed coaching. So I finally gave myself permission. And then I was networking like crazy. One of the apps that I use, and I recommend this, please download it. It's called Shaper, SHAPR. I met a lot of people on that app, and one of the people that I met was named Max. And Max was pretty cool. He was into self-development and he was into Tony Robbins and he was into this and into that. And we had several meetings and he was like really pumping me up and like, I could see like your potential and all of that good stuff. And he had a friend who worked at like a mortgage lending business or something like that. And he helped me by letting me put on like a little seminar, and then I was able to sell from the stage. And I got a couple of clients from that. So that was definitely cool. But eventually he came up with a proposal where he would have 20% stake in my business, and in exchange he would be in charge of marketing and doing other things and all of that. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, cool, someone has faith, and like, cool, I probably need a partner for all of this. And there's nothing wrong with having a strategic partnership, but what was wrong with this particular one was that I was outsourcing authority and belief in myself, like almost like a permission, like, okay, I had given myself permission. Now it was like, wow, someone who believes in me, and like placing a lot of authority in him for the belief and the acceptance of this path I wanted to go down. And he wanted 20% stake in my business. And I ended up saying no. I'm glad looking back on that, that's the way it worked out, because first of all, it wasn't a full body hell yes on my part. And that's how I make decisions now, either fully hell yes, or if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, like no in between, right? So with Max, I think what I was looking for was like almost a boss, like someone to manage me, as if I wouldn't be capable enough to manage myself, as if I wouldn't be capable enough to turn it out and make it successful without him, as if I needed someone above me in the hierarchy for me to make this actually work and make this actually like be a valid, real thing. What I realized after that was like, I have to be my own boss. I am the authority. I get to say that I am worthy, that I am capable, that I can make the decisions. And if I ever bring on a strategic partner and offer a stake in my business, it's going to be out of faith, instead of being like, oh, thanks for, instead of pandering to this lesser idea of my capabilities and who I am. Watch out for that. If you have patrons in the future, that's great. And we need to make money, we need to be supported. There's definitely all of those things. But if someone is encroaching on your sovereignty, on your image, on your vision of what you want, do a check and see like, are you acting out of faith or fear? And faith doesn't mean that it doesn't feel scary. Faith means that you have faith that once you get through the scary part, things are going to be awesome. Fear is the ego saying, oh, you need this person because like, look how valid and worthy you are. Okay. I think I was also looking to him to tell me I should be doing. And as you grow your creative business or go down your path or build your career, there's going to be so much should, right? About social media platforms, about partnerships, and about styles or the way you should craft, the way you should engage with people, all of that good stuff. And Max was telling me that I should go into coaching realtors. So basically a lot of noise around the should. So this gets dangerous. When you do things that don't feel right because you think it's the only way, and I kind of want to use social media as an example here, you might be looking at your peers who are just killing it in your space, in the space that you're in, or the space that you want to break into. What if they're just killing it on TikTok, and you hate TikTok? You can't stand the idea of TikTok, but you decide, and since this person is killing it on TikTok, what you're going to do is go on TikTok because that's the way it should be done. They're doing it that way. Well, what's going to happen is that, like, everyone's telling you you should be on TikTok, but you're energetically not aligned to it. So you're going to feel drained. And guess what? Your TikTok situation is gonna suck. Whereas, say you feel totally aligned with Instagram and it lights you up and you love showing up there, but you're ignoring it because everyone's on TikTok. No, go to Instagram. Definitely try things, learn things, explore things for sure, but always, always, always trust that inner authority and intuition. Notice where you feel energetically pulled toward. Remember, you might feel nervous as you're being energetically pulled toward it, but trust that you're being pulled toward it, as opposed to things that you feel like opposed to. Like, I can't stand the idea of being on TikTok. I think the format is so ugly and so weird, so I don't do it. I've had so many networking meetings where people are like, you need to be on TikTok. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. All right, you get to have the inner authority. You can look at different things and strategies and have coaches and masterminds and all sorts of things like that and listen to it for sure, but you are ultimately the authority. Okay, so learn from things around you, try different things, ask questions, find mentors, hire a coach, join a mastermind, but ultimately be grounded and quiet and still enough to trust and know what is for you and what is for not, and what is not for you. So second guessing yourself is the third one. And again, these are all related. Second guessing yourself is basically a result of your conscious mind and your unconscious mind clashing. You know, those moments of like divine inspiration where you're like, wow, like you feel electrified and something just comes over you and you feel pulled toward an opportunity, a person, a project, and you go for it and it totally works out, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense. That is your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind is what you're unconscious of. And it's basically 95% of what's running the show, or running 95% of the show. Your unconscious mind, we would like to think that we're conscious and awake while we're driving. But how many times have you driven to a destination only to get there and be like, wow, I couldn't talk about like 90% of that drive? That's your unconscious mind. Your heart beating, your unconscious mind. You making decisions. Well, like, let's go back to the permission slip. If you felt any resonance with the idea of the permission slip and not giving yourself permission, that's an unconscious pattern. That was an unconscious programming that happened to you as a young child, right? Your unconscious mind, I would also say, is your channel to God or the divine or your higher power or universe, whatever it is for you. And when we are clear and grounded and connected with it, it doesn't necessarily make sense. But if we follow it, that's where the magic happens. Following it responsibly, of course. I'm not one of those coaches that's like, burn your boats. Like, no, like, do it in a way that like really works for you. Okay, but what I'm trying to say here is that those dreams, that beautiful moment of inspiration, is your unconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the one that comes in and is like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you go for a walk when you have 5 million things on your to-do list, but you're feeling the need to go for a walk? Why would you go take a painting class? You're 50 years old. What do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? Why would you start to look at healing practices? You've been sick for X amount of years. Why try to change anything? That's the conscious mind. So then the conscious mind immediately starts second guessing these moments of inspiration. And more often than not, people will go ahead and listen to the conscious mind and be like, you're right, I'm too old. This is stupid. I have too much to do. This is just the way life is. So you second guess those moments of inspiration instead of trusting your own authority and giving yourself permission to go and follow that inspiration. Okay. This looks like never moving forward. This looks like 5 years have gone down the line and you're still thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I started a blog? Wouldn't it be nice if I did, X, Y, and Z? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it? That's what it looks like. And to me, that looks like life passing by. And life passing by means a gift being completely squandered. And I'm not into it because you have something inside of you that the world needs. Not the whole world. You're not going to be for everybody. That's impossible. But there might be 10 people that need what you have inside of you. There might be 20 people, there might be thousands, there might be millions. But even with those 10 people that you might be reaching and that you might be touching, you'll feel so much energy and so much healing from putting yourself out there and giving yourself the permission and trusting your own authority and stopping with this goddamn second guessing of yourself as you put yourself out there. No, there has to be structure, there has to be persistence, there has to be consistency in getting yourself out there. You can't just do one thing once and be like, oh, well, that Erin was full of shit, like no one connected with this. You have to put yourself out there, and then you have to put yourself out there again and again and again. So what I would invite you to do, this one's pretty, like, I don't need to go on too much about it, but this one's pretty self-explanatory. The next time you catch yourself talking yourself out of something that feels inspired and energetic and pulling you toward, simply tell yourself no thanks and take one tiny step toward that inspiration. I'll give you an example. When I was still in marketing, I knew that I somehow wanted to be a coach or a psychologist, something in that realm. I really wanted to do that. And my second guessing looked like the same with the psychologist thing. You're a military spouse. That would be really difficult to get licensed. You don't know what state you're getting licensed into. Okay, cool. So another year goes by. I'm in an industry and a career that I'm good at, but it's not lighting me up. I know it's not me. So then I start looking at life coaches, and the second guessing, the conscious mind, that little nagging voice says, well, there's a lot of shitty coaches and it's not regulated and no one will respect you. Okay. So I believe that. Another year goes by. What I started to do was start looking for, what about coaches I do respect? Or what about coaches? What if I could work with a coach? What if I hired a coach? And these were the questions that opened up little steps, little doors where I could see, like, oh, I've hired a coach. This has been incredibly helpful and valuable. I love spending my money with her. Maybe other people would be okay with that too. All right, so maybe I don't want to do her style of coaching. My first coach was an astrological coach, soul purpose coach. She was great. And that's not my thing. But what is? And then I started looking, what is my thing? What do I really like, right? And I won't tell that story of how I got there because I've told it so many other times. But that second guessing, they're like, Erin, like, that's stupid. Who does that? Like, well, wait a minute. There's a lot of people who do that. And it brings you one step closer and closer and closer. And then the serendipity and the synergy starts to happen and your world opens up. Okay. So I hope this was really valuable. I hope this was really helpful. I would really love to know what you took away from this. If you could let me know in the comments, I would love to know. And with that, I want to get started on a guided meditation. If you're with me, if you've been with me for a while, you know you need to drink your water because we're shifting energy and there's things that are going to be released that are no longer serving you, that have been stored in your muscles. And your water is going to help you flush it out faster. So what I want you to do right now is get really comfortable. And as you're getting comfortable, I want you to bring to mind like what was a time in childhood where you were told that you couldn't do something that you wanted to do, or you felt shut down, or the possibilities were restricted. So maybe you remembered something over the last half hour while I was talking. Maybe you need to think about it now. Maybe it'll come to you easily and effortlessly in the middle of the meditation. I want you to start settling into your space, whether you're sitting or lying down. I always leave that up to you. Remember, you're the authority. What feels good to you? What are you feeling called to do right now? Okay. What are you feeling called to do? And I just want you to shut your eyes. I'll shut my eyes with you. And I want you to start taking a scan of your body. So just start at the top of your head, wherever you need to take a scan, and relax your crown chakra, the top of your head. It's amazing where you have the opportunity to release tension. It's amazing. So you might notice like tension being held in your head or even behind your ears, around your jawline. Release your tongue from the top of your mouth, from the roof of your mouth, the muscles around your eyes. Relax your jawline, relax your neck and your shoulders. And start breathing in deeply, like in through your nose. Release through your mouth. Start breathing in through your nose. And release through your mouth. And get into the rhythm with your breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if eventually you want to go in through your nose and out through your nose, that's okay too. And continue the scan of your body where you can relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your elbows, relaxing your fingertips, relax your sternum, your heart chakra. Check in on your solar plexus, relax your belly, your sits bones, your root chakra, all the source of creation and connection. Relax your legs, your knees, your kneecaps. Continue to breathe all the way down, all the way down. And now what I want you to do is bring to mind a time when you were a child and you were told, or you started to believe, that what you wanted to do wasn't possible or that you weren't allowed. And trust what comes up for you. Trust what comes up for you. You don't need to overthink it. Just trust what your unconscious mind offers you right now, a moment in time. And I want you to see that moment in time. I want you to see that moment in time, and I want you to kind of start to feel the feelings that you were feeling as a child. What was going on there for you in that moment? What were you hearing? What were you seeing? What were you feeling? What were you smelling? And just allow yourself to go there for a minute and know that you're totally safe, healthy, whole, and complete. Totally safe, healthy, whole, and complete. You're just going back there for a moment and observe the moment where you start to believe that you are allowed to be your own authority. Observe the moment where permission was taken away from you. Observe the moment where second guessing yourself became the normal for you. Just observe it. Now I want you to freeze it. I want you to freeze that. And I want you to be able to see yourself like you're watching your child self in a movie, okay? And then full grown you of today is going to walk up to that child. I want you to sit down with that child and start to tell that child everything that they needed to hear in that moment. It's okay. That teacher doesn't get to run the show. You do. We love mom and dad, but they don't get to run the show anymore. You do. You now have permission to. You are your own authority in these ways. You no longer have to second guess yourself because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm just going to sit here for a second and let you talk with that child and tell that child everything that it needs to hear in that moment. And just keep going. And if the child needs to cry or scream or run or punch, whatever the child needs to do, just let the child do that. And you and the child believe each other. The child believes you when you say, you have permission to live from your soul purpose. You have permission. You are your own authority. What does that look like for you to take it back? What a fun journey to start. You hereby have permission to no longer second guess yourself. And knowing that you can come back to this space and do this exercise anytime you need to, and do it in multiple events in your life, infinite events in your life, as many times as you need to do the healing, to do the reprogramming. I want you to give that child a big old hug and a big old squeeze, if that's what serves the child. Maybe the child likes a high five. Whatever the child needs, give it to them. And know that you can come back, and promise that you'll come back. And when you're ready, I want you to come back into the room and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. and grab your workbook because your workbook has a lot of notes or a lot of space for notes. So you can write down what came up for you. All right. I really hope that you enjoyed that, that you got some value from that. This workshop is not, the idea isn't to not make mistakes, it's to not make those mistakes. And once you start giving yourself permission, once you start allowing yourself to be your own authority, once you start going after the inspiration and stop second guessing yourself, you are going to make mistakes. And really, those mistakes are things not working out the way you wanted them to at first. But those things are going to help you learn and grow and eventually get onto the path where things are working out for you, where they do inspire, where they do allow you to grow. Okay. What I would like you to do is just keep me posted either in my Facebook group or leave me comments and let me know what came up for you. Thank you for being here. There will be another workshop 2 weeks from today. And unless it's my husband's birthday, we might have to reschedule. We might have to adjust the schedule for that. But other than that, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Whether you're here live or watching the replay, your energy, your support, your presence in my life is appreciated. And have a great day and be. So that was it. I hope you really enjoyed that workshop. If you want to sign up for more notifications on new workshops and opportunities to win premium prices like transformation sessions, hypnotherapy that's personalized and everything, just be sure to grab the workbook below and you will be on my list and you will get emails from Erin at Erin Vasquez. Don't forget to subscribe and sign up for notifications, and I will see you at the next workshop. Have a great day.